welcome to this video. This is me telling you straight to your faces my top 10 videos of all time. You may not agree with these. These are not based on necessarily Academy Awards won or critics' choices. These are my personal favourites. The ones that have spoken to me, the ones I've loved over the years, watched the most, and that have made an impression on me. I'll start at number 10 and I'll work up to number 1. I do not expect people to agree with my choices. I mean, that would be boring, wouldn't it, if we all thought the same? But I'll give my reasons for choosing these ones and why they've really appealed to me over the years. In at number 10, it's 30 Days of Night. Now, I know this is a slightly controversial choice, but I love this film. Josh Hartnett, probably the best film he's been in for my money. I love that really remote Alaskan setting. It feels so isolated. I like the fact that there's like a despair and a hopelessness in this film. Why do I like films like this? Why am I drawn to despair and hopelessness? I can't explain that. But yeah, it's set in this kind of town that gets cut off. A lot of the film is set in darkness where the characters, the protagonists, the survivors are trying to survive whilst this group of bloodthirsty vampires kind of parade around the town trying to seek out the surviving humans and kill them. It's a great film. It's got a good twist. It really manages to create a sense of dread and isolation. It's spine-chilling. The vampires are very bloodthirsty. There's a lot of blood. It's very visceral and fast. It features brutal and unrelenting violence. I just like the way this film ends. It's obviously based on a comic book. I say obviously, you might not know, but it is. That's where it's kind of come from originally. So yeah, number 10, 30 Days of Night. Fantastic. Number 9, it's the only Arnold Schwarzenegger film in my list, which is quite surprising because I do like him, and some people might not agree with this. They may think he's done better films, but my favourite is Commando. Wow. Totally over the top. I love it. And I like the fact it's basically one father's kind of mission to rescue and protect his daughter, his beloved daughter, from whatever is in the way. It's got some really good dialogue, some memorable one-liners. I suppose most of his films do, but this has got quite a few in it. It's got some cheesy kind of steel drum music from the 80s. Love it. It is basically just pure, unadulterated entertainment, this one. You know, it just starts off with the daughter being kidnapped and that whole scene with him chasing after down the hillside. It doesn't really let up, this film. It just continues. The action just carries on. And particularly when he gets to that island, it's just mayhem. It's just a killing spree. It's one man against an army. And I just love it. There are some completely over-the-top killings in it. There's that pitchfork to the chest. Oh, I don't know. I made a video just about the killings in this film once, which was quite fun to do. And I sort of counted the body count that Arnie left behind in his wake. So that's it. Number 9, Commando. Moving on to number 8. 28 Days Later. There was obviously going to be a zombie film in my list, possibly more than one. 28 Days Later, great film. The first time we suddenly saw zombies being able to run, and that was a terrifying prospect. I love Danny Boyle's films. I think this is probably my favourite of all of his. It's got a really good soundtrack, a haunting score to accompany it. And I think this film really helped to bring about a resurgence in British films and British horror films. It's really helped to progress the zombie genre in particular, and it really now enjoys a cult status across most movie fans. Number 7. Duel by Steven Spielberg, shot in 1971, or released in 1971 anyway. And it's great. Some people describe this as Jaws with a lorry. And when you do describe the premise to somebody who hasn't seen this film, it's quite hard to sell it. And you saw their face is kind of like, is that really a good film? Because you're essentially saying there's a guy in a car and he's being chased by this kind of mystery lorry. And that is it, basically, for the entire film. How do you sustain that story and the suspense for an entire film when it's such a simple idea? But it's amazing because it's Spielberg. This film draws you in. You cannot take your eyes off the screen from start to finish, and you really root for the guy in the car. And you really want him to survive, because what the hell is going on with this lorry? You don't see the driver. You never see the driver. It's just like driverless as far as you're concerned. And every time you think he's lost it or he's got away, it re-emerges in his rear view mirror or something. It's terrifying, really. Never known a lorry be so scary. That was also probably the oldest film in my list. Interestingly, there's very few 80s films, and I love 80s films. I own a lot of 80s films, but it's like the ones from the 90s that seem to be making the cut when I sat back and really studied my collection, which I'm quite surprised about, to be honest. Anyway, moving on. Shaun of the Dead. Wow. I think it's the only comedy film actually in this list, which is not to say I don't like comedies, but yeah, this is the only comedy to make my top 10. And wow, what a comedy! It's a rom-com with zombies. Some people describe it as, and it's great because it's managed to blend those two genres. It's blending the horror genre with the comedy genre, and it does it so well. Simon Pegg, Nick Frost are excellent in this movie. I think it's their best movie, to be honest. It's got some really funny dialogue and some funny slapstick scenes. Throwing the records at the zombies in the garden is probably my favourite scene in the entire film. It's classic. I think also you can really relate to this film. It's about daily struggles, if nothing else. So, you can apply the whole story to all kinds of different scenarios. It's very popular amongst horror fans. This also has definitely got the cult status going on. Edgar Wright is the person that is he's laying down the law with this film. He's obviously done things like Space prior to this and loads of films since. I like his individual style of direction. A lot of cut shots. It's kind of snappy, and I like that. Now, this is a fantastic film. I'm not a massive Michael Caine fan, but in this film, he shines. I love his character. It's kind of tragic, the way that him and his wife go, but I love the way he's just in the kind of woods, in his own little zone, having a good time, sort of living his best life, I suppose. It's tragic how he goes in the end. Michael Caine's amazing. Clive Owen, obviously, and Julianne Moore are also really good in this film. It's a bleak film. It's one of the bleakest I've seen, to be honest. It paints a picture of, well, I suppose despair and a very negative kind of future, overcrowding, all kinds of issues, a society that's truly broken, I think. But it kind of has a good ending, and it's beautifully directed. It's a cinematic joy to watch. Yeah, definitely a nice film. I've seen it many times. I will continue to keep watching it. I suppose what it does is it explores themes of hope and survival. It's very dystopian. It's about as dystopian as they come, I think. And I like the fact that although Clive Owen is kind of a hero in this, he's a very, very much a reluctant hero. Kind of doesn't really want to be going along on this journey, but he gets swept up and he does it anyway. And he comes out, I guess, victorious. Discuss. It's quite political, this film. It does definitely bring up current societal issues. What's interesting, this was filmed back in 2006, and I think some of the issues it's grappling with are issues that we're still grappling with in society today. Number 4 is The Thing, or as lots of people like to call it, John Carpenter's The Thing. I guess that separates it from other versions of The Thing, because this is definitely the best one, in my opinion. This was from 1982. I suppose what really stands out about this film, what people talk about a lot, is the fact there was no CGI back then, but some of the special effects in it are quite stunning, grotesque, believable, impressive. And when you watch the film today, unlike a lot of films from that kind of era, you don't watch it and think, oh, that looks rubbish or that's dated. It still looks amazing, and you really buy into the gore and this weird shape-shifting thing mutating into people's bodies and whatnot. Again, similar to 30 Days of Night, this has got some serious isolation going on, even perhaps more so because, it's set in such a remote location. There are a small group of characters and they're fighting for survival. I mean, it's just textbook direction, this. It's a slow burn. The tension, the suspense is almost unbearable at times as the film moves towards its climax. I love the ending. I like the fact that it's very open to interpretation, and there's lots written on the internet about what people actually think happens at the end and what the ending actually means. I've read stuff about being able to see people's breath. Does that mean they are or aren't the thing? Serious scrutiny goes on with this movie. So yeah, one of the most ambiguous endings I think we've perhaps ever seen. But that's what keeps bringing me back to the movie. I've watched this one. This is probably the movie I've watched the most in this list. I've probably seen it over 20 times, and I will continue to keep watching. It's almost like a yearly or every 2 years I'll just get it out and say, it's time to watch The Thing again. So I do. Okay, at number 3 we've got Seven. Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt than some others. Pretty gruesome film about a serial killer who's killing victims based on kind of the 7 deadly sins. I think Brad Pitt's amazing in this, as is Morgan Freeman. You've got Brad Pitt, who's a bit young and a bit kind of boisterous, a bit impatient, just kind of like, and a bit kind of like torn about a lot of things with the young family. And then you've kind of got Morgan Freeman, who's a much calmer character. I think they make a really good team. I like the way those two actors play off each other in this film. The ending with the box, that's classic. I refer to that quite a lot in my everyday life. If there's a box around, what's in there? Is it Gwyneth Paltrow's head in there? So that's provided lots of scope for comedy for me anyway over the years. But yeah, I like this. It's a quite a bleak film again,
Why am I drawn to despair and hopelessness?
They're bringing a child into this world, Brad Pitt and Gwyneth Paltrow's characters, but they're not sure, it's a good world to bring it into right now. I like the scene in the library with Morgan Freeman when he's doing the research late at night and he's kind of palling with the security guards and stuff. That's a cozy scene. I like that. There's quite a lot of rain in this film as well, I've noticed. It starts off, it's just rainy and quite dark as well. And there's a lot of juxtaposition there with the ending where it's out in the desert, and it's kind of bright sunshine. I like that contrast. That will be very deliberate. Kevin Spacey obviously plays a really pivotal role in this and makes a really good baddie, I think. I think the ending of this film is shocking, and I think that really stays with you when you're watching this film. It did with me. It still does. As I say about that box thing, I laugh about it, but it's a brutal ending, and I love Brad Pitt's kind of the way he kind of really torn with his emotions at the end there. He doesn't want to believe what he thinks it might be. Great little bit of acting, that, I think. So yeah, great film. Number 2, we're getting there. We're nearly at number 1. The Silence of the Lambs. It had to be in here, really. It is one of my favourite films, obviously. I watched it a lot. Jodie Foster, sorry. I like to call her Foster. This is her best role, I think, for me. And Anthony Hopkins, I think it's his best role. Certainly talked about a lot, isn't it? And again, this one's entered kind of mainstream and has a cult status that people reference and refer to a lot. Trump talks about Hannibal Lecter a lot, doesn't he, actually, at the moment? I love the relationship between Hannibal Lecter and Agent Starling. There's that kind of there's kind of a battle of wits going on there. There's a mutual respect between the two characters as well. The film explores the human psyche. It's a very complex relationship that those two have, and of course you've then also got that third person involved, the actual serial killer who's out on the loose. So there's kind of a 3-way battle going on, I guess, in this film. That, for me, was, fairly revolutionary, an idea. So to have a serial killer help catch another serial killer, I'd not seen a film like that before. It got critical acclaim, obviously, but as I said at the beginning of this video, this list of my films is not based on that. It just happens to be one of my favourites, and it did win a few awards. Right, here we are, number 1. We finally arrived. The number 1. Can you guess what it is? You might be able to. Maybe. I don't think this one will shock you too much. My favourite film, and the film at number 1, is Alien by Ridley Scott. Released in 1979, this is a classic. What would we call it? It's a classic sci-fi horror. I think it really did help to define that genre, to be honest. It's got all of H.R. Geiger's kind of classic design work in the background, which really sets it apart from anything that came before. I think the other thing that we have to recognise in this film, and the thing that makes it amazing, is the fact we have Sigourney Weaver there as a strong main character who happens to be female. So yeah, she's really rocking it for the ladies. Similar to The Thing. I mean, there's quite a few similarities between these two films, and I love them both for these reasons. And that is the slow burn tension in this movie. It's quite a slow start, actually. So you just kind of sit back and you wait like half an hour or so whilst it introduces kind of the story and the characters before any real action happens. But obviously, once it does start to happen, does the poo hit the fan? Yeah, Sigourney Weaver is brilliant in this film. She's also good in the sequel, but this for me is the best of the Alien series. So thanks for watching the video. Hopefully you will agree with some of my choices. Feel free to put a comment down below if you'd like to. It's great to hear from people. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.